Good morning, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Network Marketing Mum Success Stories. I cannot wait for you to meet this gorgeous girl that I'm about to interview today. So we have the gorgeous Sherri Brown with us today, who is going to give us some insight and some tips and strategies and her biggest nuggets around how she builds her business around her family and her little girl. And just everyday mum life. And this is why I'm doing these interviews. I want to bring these sorts of people on so that we all can see that this industry is possible even if you are a mum at home with your kids. And so I cannot wait to interview Sherri Brown. I'm going to get straight into it, Sherri. There's so much I want to ask you, so let's get straight into it. Firstly though, can you just introduce yourself and tell us your background, why you've chosen network marketing, but also your background as a mum and those sorts of things, everyday life. Thank you.
Yes. And so, first of all, thanks for even having me. I'm so excited. I literally could sit and listen to you talk like all day long. Um, but I've been in the network marketing industry since around 2011. And the first 4 years, I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. I was the typical like person who went to high school, and then I went to college for 8 years. And so I was in like the sales industry. I did like wireless sales. And so I thought coming into network marketing that it would just be a breeze. And it was not. I had no influence. I did not have, like, I was not seen as like influential by any means. I didn't have a large receptive warm market. It was just me. So when I came on, of course, the first 4 years, I was a total spammer. And although I was doing the reach outs and doing the posts the way, like the company was teaching us, I wasn't getting anywhere. And just, I was getting ignored. I remember throwing like the parties, the at-home parties, and if I was lucky, there was only a couple of people to show up, and if the people who did show up was just like family. And so after about
Yeah.
4 years, my sister, yes, so my sister called me a spammer, and that's kind of when I decided, okay, if I'm going to be serious about this, like, I need to learn what the successful are doing differently, because what I'm doing right now is not working. And so that was kind of like my introduction into attraction marketing. And yeah, it's been a long road. I have failed more times than I can count. But for me, it once I sat down and really started learning attraction marketing, it took me about 2 years to have my first six-figure year, which was 2017. And yeah, it's been a long road, but it's exciting. And I've got a little girl. She's 5. She just started kindergarten. And so she was kind of like my driving force behind just sticking with it, even though I was totally flailing about for years.
I love it though, but that's why I love your story and your journey, because you never gave up. You kept failing and kept failing and kept doing it wrong, and then all of a sudden something clicked or whatever happened and you started doing it right. And look at you now. Like, we all know who you are now, but imagine, maybe it wasn't the right time back then. But I just love that you've been through that journey, because you being through that journey can teach others what not to do, isn't it? Isn't that
Oh,
right? So that's where you can, yeah. So that's your experience. I find that we have to have these experiences for some reason. And for you, it was a learning curve to teach others what not to do, is what I believe. And so I absolutely love that. And I love that you've given us your time today. And thank you so much for that little insight. But my next question for you is, what are your action steps and non-negotiables every single day? Now, I know that you do email marketing, blogging, um, everything attraction marketing. You're in your own group all the time. You've got your incredible network marketing group that you do. Like, how do you do all of that plus your non-negotiables and action steps? I want to know this.
Okay, well, as far as like my non-negotiable, because there was, for a period of time, even when I first started learning attraction marketing, I felt like I was being pulled in 50 different directions. Like, I was on Facebook, but then I would have people tell me like, oh, you need to be like building on Instagram, and and so I would hop on Instagram and I would try to learn something. And then the next person would tell me, or the next trainer, oh, you need to be on, LinkedIn. That's where it's at. And so there was a period of time where I was pulled like a bunch of different directions. And, I read the book here recently. It's been this year. It's a book called The One Thing. If you have not read it, anybody who's listening, like I would highly, highly, highly recommend reading that book. But the main thing in the book
What's it
is
called?
basically
The One
like
Thing?
The One Thing, yes. And I even did like a video about it, but it's called The One Thing. And the whole entire concept of it, and it was like a total light bulb moment for anybody who feels like they're focusing on too many things. But the entire concept of the book is basically figuring out like, if you can only do one thing, like what is the most important thing that you can do every day that's going to move your business forward. So my biggest like non-negotiable, if I have like no time and I need to do one thing, it's create a piece of content. Put a piece of content out there, whether it be me doing a live video, whether it be me repurposing an old blog post, whether it be me putting up a status update. Like my one non-negotiable every single day is putting out a piece of content, because that's like a little like army person, like a little Sherri going out there, like building rapport, going out there and building, those connections. So that's my main non-negotiable. And then what was the other question? Like, that's the one thing that I do. There are other things I do, like, I check my messages. I'm not in my inbox very often, but I do take time to like, go in and respond. I do engagement. That's something I do. But a big thing with me, as far as how I do it all, with having a little girl, and we have 7 animals, plus I have a husband, so that's like an extra kid.
Yeah.
But
one.
but but how I get it all done is I am known as like the outsourcing queen. I do not try to do it all. There's a lot of women, especially work-at-home moms, that try to do everything themselves and think that, there's a lot of moms though who look at it as like a badge of honor. You know what I mean? Like, they aren't this awesome person unless they're the ones doing everything. And one of my absolute favorite quotes is from Chalene Johnson, who says, you can have it all, but you can't do it all. And I live by that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So, and outsourcing. So, do you outsource everything that you just don't like doing? Or is it specifics?
Yes. So there are, when it comes to outsourcing, I started very small, because when I, first started outsourcing, I, at that time, was not making a very big income at all. So I started small. Like, I hired just a general VA for 5 hours a week. And he would just like add subtitles to my videos, or go in and like share my content into, different places. He would just do those time-sucking activities. But now I still have a general VA. That guy is still with me today. I've got a video editor who will edit my videos. I have a graphic designer who creates all of my graphics. I have different contractors who will do specific like tech things for me that I need done that maybe I don't know how to do. I've got a personal assistant, even now a personal assistant who's local to me. And so she comes over daily, and I will have her do everything from reach out to get feedback from students who went through my courses. I might have her go to the grocery store for me. I might have her, just whatever needs done.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So you send her off to get your lunch while you go and do your
I do.
What you love.
Send her to check the mail.
That's incredible.
Like, yeah.
Does she work in your house, or is she just around the corner? Like, where is she?
She just lives in the town next door to us. She lives about 20 minutes away, but she comes to my house every day.
Wow.
So
how incredible is that? I cannot wait.
So today I had her upstairs cleaning. Yeah, I had her upstairs cleaning my daughter's room, and then I might send her to the grocery store, or I might say, hey, you need to do research on YouTube to figure out how to get these videos to rank. Like, she's just kind of like my extra me.
Wow. How do you find one of those people? I want one of those people.
Yes. Well, when it comes to outsourcing, there's specific tasks who I'm very big in hiring from the Philippines. As far as like general VA, my video editor, graphics, like you can hire people. There's a big misconception around outsourcing that people think, well, I don't have the money or I have to make the money before I can start outsourcing. Well, my general VA, when I started, just 5 hours a week, it was $4 an hour. You know what I mean? So it's a lot cheaper than a lot of people think. And then my personal assistant is actually my niece.
Ah, that's easy.
So family, yeah,
Wow.
family. And she knows me. She knows what I like. She knows what, so for that it was pretty easy getting her on.
Yeah, that's gold. Everyone go find a niece or a nephew or something that wants a bit of money and put them to work.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it. That's outsourcing at its best, I reckon. All right, next question. How many hours a day and a week do you work your business? Do you have specific time slots, or is it just 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there, whatever you can fit in, or is it specific days and specific times?
Well, because my schedule is completely different based on what's going on with my little girl and like my family. So my schedule looked completely different this summer than it does now. So like right now, my little girl's in elementary school. And so my business hours now, for the first time, I'm like, whoo, it's so much easier. My office hours are Monday through Friday, and I work when she's at school. And when she comes back home from school, I unplug and I might hop on and, if she's busy doing something or she's playing, I might hop on and engage for a few minutes. But I really try like to focus on my main things and work on my business while she's at school. And I do have that luxury now. Before school, because I know there's a lot of moms who work from home and they've got little kids who aren't in school. And there's a huge battle with like, how do I balance this both? And then I have a couple of suggestions on what I did. Number one, I would have, because every Tuesday I go live, like every single Tuesday without fail. So I live in the same city as my mom. So my mom would take her and she would stay with my mom on Mondays, and I would get her after my lives on Tuesday, because that was kind of like the workaround there. I would have somebody come over a couple of hours a week just to play with her for like 2 to 3 hours, so I could really focus on like certain things that really needed my attention in my business. And aside from that, it was just fitting it in. It's just a lot of people, if they have small kids at home, they think that, it's like work or business. And I just kind of blended it in. I would get up earlier when she would sleep in, and I would focus on personal development, or I would create some content in the morning when I had that time. And then throughout the day, it was just, hey, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes here. I, had the main things that I focused on, like my non-negotiables for the day. And as long as I got that done, I was fine. I didn't really stress about it. Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I've seen a video where your daughter has a little desk or an art table near your desk. Did that also help with, making sure that she understood, okay, mum is working now, so you need to go and do some of your work, while I'm doing my business, where did I see that? There was a video, I think.
Yes, that is because again, I've had as a work at home mom, I've had to figure it out through the different stages of her like kind of growing up, over the past 5 years. And so there was a point where we lived in a different state, and we had a big bonus room, a big playroom. And so I had my desk in her playroom. And so we would go up there, I would shut the door, and she would have her toys, and I would sit down while she was entertained. and I would work on my business in those little chunks because, you know, even at 2, 3 years old, she didn't get like, okay, mommy needs to focus on business. So if there were
Yeah.
times where I had to do a live, you know, I've done Facebook Lives when I would get her in the vehicle, I would have my notes ready, I would drive her around until she fell asleep, and I would pull over and do my live. You just have to like figure it out based on what
Yeah.
stage you're in and, you know, your child's actions. Like my little girl, she's been trying to crawl in the day, I mean, since the day she come out, she's been trying to crawl back in, you know. And so it's just very, very attached. And so,
Oh, I love
yeah.
it. And you've just got to do what you got to do. Hey, and I remember a lot of your videos have been in the car, and it's okay. You know, we don't have to be perfect and polished every time we do a live. The information and the content, I feel, is more important than how you look or where you are. Or, I mean, I'm sitting in my spare room with a bunch of flowers behind me. It's not that great, you know, but it's just, you know, whatever works at the time. So it's one of those things. I just love how real you are. Yeah, I love how real you are with this business and how you show other mums that you can do so much as long as that you be smart about your work rather than trying to work so hard that you run yourself down. Do it in a smart way. So work smarter, not harder. And that's what I admire about you the most. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I am all about systems. I'm all about tools. I'm all about things that are going to save me time so that when I do find those chunks of time, I can be very productive, you know, and especially for moms who do have little kids, if there's certain things, even, you know, if it's 2 or 3 days a week, get somebody over to play with your kid for 2 or 3 hours a day, a couple of times a week, so you can focus on those like big important tasks. Because I mean, I can sit here and do laundry when she's running around the house. That's not a big deal. It doesn't really require focus, but you just have to kind of figure it out based on, you know, your child's personality, what your schedule is, and things like that. And it's not always easy, but you know, you just have to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the other biggest things that I admire about you is you don't prospect people, do you? You don't prospect at all.
I don't.
Right?
I have not prospected. I have not actually prospected anybody since 2016.
What? I want to know. Okay, put this into perspective for these mums on here that are listening. I want to know. Okay, so I know attraction marketing is key, right, for that, but I've always been taught that you've got to do attraction marketing, but also prospect on the back end so that there's, you know, both of them working for you, all the time. But how the heck, can you explain to us how the heck you just don't prospect?
Well, now
I
will say, when I say I don't prospect, I mean like I have not reached out to a stranger, or like I don't reach out to even my family. If I've got something going on, I don't reach out, hey, I've got something going on, I think you'd be a good fit for it. I just don't. Now I still have conversations with people, like when people message me or people ask me questions. So I do still talk to people, but I don't reach out and cold prospect anybody. It's just I've done it in the past. It's not a like I'm just not, I don't want to build the type of business that requires me to constantly be in my inbox. I have done it in the past. I have prospected. I think if you are somebody who you really need money now and you know you have got to put food on the table, by all means get really good at communicating and prospect, because that is the fastest way that you are going to create results. But for me, I just got super just obsessed with marketing. I got really obsessed with learning how to go out there and put out information and build rapport that would allow people to come to me wanting to know, you know, because that's a whole different conversation. If somebody comes to me wanting something, that's a whole different conversation than me reaching out to a stranger wanting to know if they want to buy something. It's just, you know, not my vibe, not the way I want to build my business anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what yeah, that's what makes me smile, that you can do it that way. It's not just about, reaching out those cold contacts and getting in everyone's inbox and trying to just make conversation just to make conversation. I love that you do it through the attraction way, and people are attracted to asking you questions, and then it might come up in conversation that way. So alongside that, what is the most effective asset on a daily basis that has built your business through attraction marketing? What is the biggest asset to you?
I think one of the biggest things is video. Video has played a huge part. I do not think that I would have the business that I have today if it weren't for not only video, but live video. Because I think that, if people can see you on camera and they can get a sense of who you are and your personality, I think that it allows you to really build rapport at a much deeper connection, deeper than me putting any post out or anything like that. So live video is, I would say, the number one thing that I would attribute to what I've been able to do.
Yeah, awesome. And nearly everyone that I've had on these interviews has said live video has been it. So what does that tell us? It tells us that that is the, what we should be doing to make ourselves attractive to people, for them to come to us, So I love that so much. What about the highs and lows? How do you get out of a funk? You know how we get into these funks, and this industry's got so many highs and lows, and we go through these ups and downs, and this week I feel amazing, next week I suck and I hate myself, those sorts of, scenarios. How do you get yourself out of that funk? What is your strategy to get yourself out of that?
Yes, I will be the first to tell you, I have wanted to quit so many times. I can't even tell you how many times I've wanted to throw in the towel because it has been just ups and downs. But, the one thing that's kept me going when I do get in those periods is there's basically some general rules. Number one, I'm very, very selective about who I have in my circle. Even in my highs, like, I don't want to be around anybody negative. I don't want to be around or have anybody there that's just like a soul sucker, so I'm very protective of who I talk to. I'm very protective about what I watch. Like, I don't watch the news ever because it's just depressing. It gets me paranoid. As far as if I'm in a funk too, I will very much feed my mind with positivity. I'll listen to podcasts. I'll read a book. And if I'm listening to a podcast and it's just not jiving, like, I'll shut it off and I'll go find something else. Times where I've had to go through and listen to 10 different ones before something clicked. But, just feeding my mind. Sometimes too, it's just taking a step back and unplugging, like just walking away for a day just to clear your head. Those are just a few of the things that I do. Having an accountability partner has been everything for me. I have, there's a couple of people who I talk to pretty much on a daily basis, and there are ones where if I'm in a funk or they're in a funk, like, we can just kind of help snap each other out of it. I think having an accountability partner, because there's a lot of the times, especially for work at home moms, who, like, my husband, he doesn't get what I do. You know what I mean? And so you can feel really lonely. And so just having somebody else who understands what you're going through and who gets it is super, super important.
Yes, absolutely. I think accountability it's got to be up there, like, as a number 1, 2, or 3 in what we do. We have to have accountability with ourselves and for our team as well. So this is something else I wanted to ask you. I know that you love marketing, and you're like this beautiful attraction marketing queen that I look at, in that way. But what about your leadership skills for your own team in your network marketing business? What is your best leadership qualities to nurture your team alongside marketing and all that other stuff?
Well, the one thing about my network, because my network marketing company is not my primary source, it's just one income stream that I have. And so the one thing that I feel like I'm kind of lucky with is the fact that my personal upline is such an epic leader that they have created so much that I don't have to be the one in there doing trainings all the time. It's just me pointing people to that group because my upline is so epic. It's just, plug people into the group. And, you know, so
Yeah.
I'm good at pointing people. I'm kind
Yeah.
of like a director,
I think we
I
have to
feel.
be. Yeah. But I honestly think we have to get good at not feeling like we've got to know it all, and have to be everything. You know, like I feel that if we can have a resource or a training or something that we're always pointing people to, that's the leverage. You know, we want leverage. We
Oh,
don't want to be there sitting in front of Zoom every day talking to 5, 10 people that you've had to train on something because none of them could get on at the one time. You don't want that. You know, we want to just point them in the right direction. And I feel that that is true leadership qualities, to be okay with that and not feel like, oh, but I've got to do it all myself. I'm their leader, so I feel like I have to be the one who's always doing it for them. I don't think that that's a good quality. I think the better quality is to point them in the right direction, know exactly what their personality is, and know where they would like to go, you know, with what they're trying to learn, and just point them, like you said, be the director. I think that that's amazing. So
yeah.
yeah, awesome.
I don't feel guilty. I think it's smart. You know, I never
Yes.
feel guilty for, you know, why sit here and recreate something when my personal upline has everything somebody needs? Like, it's just smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It is so smart. Our most achievement. I know you've been in this industry for such a long time now. You're not only network marketing leader, but you're a coach of your own. You've got many courses and different things that you do for your people who follow you. But what is your biggest achievement out of all of this over the last how many of the years you've been in?
I think it's pretty cool. There's a couple of things that I was pretty proud of. You know, my very first month in my new network marketing company, I was able to come in and I was #1 in customer acquisition in all of North America. So that was a pretty cool
Wow.
accomplishment. And I did that again
So good.
with zero prospecting. So those were all people who came to me just based on what I was putting out on my profile. And then it was, I think there was one year where I won an affiliate contest for an attraction marketing system. And so out of just thousands of other marketers, I ended up getting #1 in that contest. So that was pretty cool, you know, going up against some of the best. And yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I guess this question, I know this question seems to make people excited to learn this sort of thing from you or from any of the people I've been interviewing. But what drives you to build your business? You know, you've got your coaching side, and that is your mainstream of income. But what drives you to build your network marketing business still? What keeps bringing you back to that? Or, you know, we could have a million excuses as to why we don't do this, with kids, with family, with ups and downs, you know, the funk that we get into every now and then, and the fact that your mainstream is your coaching. But what drives you to build your business and to want to achieve that success through network marketing?
You know, the biggest thing, one of the biggest reasons for me is I love my time. You know, I I just kind of made the decision once I got pregnant. My thought process was I am going to do whatever it takes, come hell or high water, to make this work to where I can be present, because I did not get pregnant to have a child for me to pay somebody else to watch them grow up and teach them everything. Like, I want to be there, I want to be present.
Yeah.
And I love my time freedom, you know. So my little girl is my main driving force. She was the reason that I even discovered, really, the whole, you know, she was the reason why I got serious about it. But then I just don't want to work for
Yeah.
anybody else. And so just the thought of having to like get a job makes me want to throw up. And I'm like, okay, that usually snaps me out of it, because it's like, you're going to make this work, or you're going to have to go work for somebody else who's going to tell you what to do for the rest of your life, and that's not happening.
Yeah, absolutely. That was exactly my reason. And I'm sure it's many other mums on here. That's their reason, their driving force is their kids, you know, and wanting to have that flexibility and choices around when you work and how you work, you know, and not going back to that 9 to 5. And I really feel that that this shows so many other mums possibilities of the fact that you can do this in your own way, the way you want, with whatever you want to do, you know, however you want to build this, it can be possible. And so I thank you so much for that as well. My last question is, can you give us one of your biggest attraction marketing tips? I know you said like videos is your main, you know, most effective asset for attraction marketing, but what's an amazing attraction marketing tip that you can give us just to close this off, so the other mums out there on here can see something that they may be able to implement that they're not already doing for attraction marketing?
Yes. This is going to be hard because there are so many tips that I could give. I know. It's hard.
Maybe give us 5 then. Give 5.
Well, I'm very, very big in the foundation. You know, I think the reason why a lot of people struggle is, number one, they have no idea what their brand is. So I think first and foremost, decide what you want to be known for. If it changes down the road, that's cool. But once you have kind of know what you want to be known for, what fires you up, what you're passionate about, the second thing is determine who you want to attract. Like, who is your ideal person that you want to attract? Because if you know who that is, then creating content, which is the one thing people struggle the most with, is what do I post? I have no idea what I'm supposed to post. Then it makes it so much easier to go out there and create content that's going to solve a problem, that's going to attract somebody. Don't be afraid to be yourself, but really, you know, it's not about you. It's about, like, nobody cares about you ranking dancing. Nobody cares about the income that you're making. They care about their problems. So if you can be the one that's going out there and solving their problem, then you're a lot more likely to, you know, attract them and get them, you know, into something that you've got going on, whether it be your product, your service, or opportunity. But be authentic, be you. Like, create content, put yourself out there. Don't spam.
Yeah. And I think that is the biggest key, is knowing who you want to attract and filling the void of what they're missing, that pain or desire. I feel that, you know, if we can fill that void for them and make them want to remember us and keep coming back to us, if, you know, if we're the ones out there who are giving them that content that they're looking for, then that is it. Like, to me, that is it. That is key. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for your time. I truly do appreciate it. And, you know, halfway across the other side of the world, I absolutely love that we can do this and have people like yourself on here to inspire us and to show us what's possible. So thank you so much for your time. And guys, I thank you all for jumping on and for all of your interaction as well. And yeah, thank you, Sherri. You are amazing. I'm going to watch this back and get some notes.
Yes, you are more than welcome. You are more than welcome.
Bye.
Bye.